going to go live. We'll have a countdown. I think everybody who watched us, right?
Okay.
Okay, good. If you were with us a moment ago, we did have one or two problems for which we do apologise. But I think Nicky would like to say hello to everybody.
I'll say hello. I'm hoping that the sound is better this time. I'm not too sure. Well, I didn't set. I had the default microphone rather than my sophisticated microphone here. My one that, like people say, looks like D2. I'll move it into camera. Right. The Dalek, okay. Or I can't remember what they call it. Yeah.
Now, to pick up where we left off, Nicky has challenged me to using the book, using the Converting Conversations to Customers book, which I've read, but I'm going to go back to it, is to take my LinkedIn profile, which some parts of which haven't been touched since 2000 and within the next 30 days, to follow the suggestions and to join LinkedIn groups and to become known on LinkedIn for what I'm doing now, not what I was doing a couple of years ago. So we're going to revisit LinkedIn, and we're back with perfect sound in 30 days. So thank you for the challenge, Nicky.
Well, yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do and what the impact is, and what the difference it makes to you, because it will be interesting when you're actually being more proactive. So part of it is improving your branding and making sure your branding is up to speed so that you attract the right people. But also I'm hoping that you'll be proactive and actually start up conversations with people and engage with people a little bit more than you have been doing on LinkedIn.
Well, you see, my business has pivoted, and I'm now most interested and most enjoy doing chats like we're doing today. So in conjunction with Fraser Hay, who you may know, we've co-authored a book which will be published in October. My tentative title is Create Your Own Video Chat, but that's not going to work. So Fraser's going to go off and make it Amazon friendly. And then having done that, I then will revisit my profile and it will look as though I've always been doing video. Now, forget the fact I've been doing it for only 15 months. That's where the thrust will come. And when I'm contacting people, I won't be contacting them as a software developer. I'll be contacting them as a video chat host and trainer. Because what I'm looking to do is to encourage people to use video chats more in their business and create their own shows. Because I don't know whether you've seen, we've got 3 shows at the moment. Roadshop.tv, which is Dan Nelson, who's a chocolatier. And we've been going now, this month will be our 5th show. And then we started a German language show with Ask Angelica, where Angelica students on Udemy and on Skillshare can come on air and ask her questions, okay? And that's going very well. And I've also got a commercial customer as well, which is all good. So using the book, I'm going to improve that. Now, one of the things you talked about was profile. Can we just go through how important your profile is?
Yeah, it's your first impression, and they say you've only got a few seconds to make a first impression, but really your LinkedIn profile is probably the first thing that people are going to look up to find out more about you, and also it does rank well for Google search, but it's really, you want people within a few minutes of reading or within a few seconds of reading your profile to feel as though, yes, you're the right person for them. Because there's no point in, if you do things that could help people, but looking at your profile, they can't guess that unless they ring you up or, ask you more questions. You really want it to be obvious in terms of how you help people. So I always recommend that you have, who you are, so what your business is or who you are. And how you help people, because then that's focused on, you could become customer focused. So who you help and how you help people is really important, because people want to know immediately if you're the right type of person to speak to, or if they know who they should connect you to, or if you would suit somebody else, or whether, so they need to know that type of thing quite quickly. And that is useful for you to make sure that if you want to do the video chat, be known as the video chat person, or whichever words that are going to be Amazon friendly. So I suggest that you wait until you've decided on the title of the book, so you get known for that, so that you've got those keywords, so that you get found for those words as well. Okay.
Indeed.
So I would take it from there, from your book title, because that's going to be decided fairly quickly, isn't it, in terms of what you're going to call your book.
It is. I mean, it's in Fraser's hands. I sent him the manuscript yesterday, so he's going to edit. He's going to do everything from there on in. So, and he's going to put a marketing spin on it as well, because obviously, if you're doing video and you're marketing, then you've got to know what you're doing. And there was people I've met, including yourself. Fraser is at marketing. He is. He's a genuine guy, and he and I have been on video. We were on Blab, and quite enjoyed it. And a shout out to Marcus as well. Shout out to Kevin. Now, one of the things that people probably didn't hear earlier was basically what you want to do is to find people who are of interest to you on Twitter, and you can use IFTTT to do that, can't you? And how do you go about it?
Well, you could do. Well, if you have a particular search term that you want to find, or somebody using a particular phrase, you can create a list of people using that phrase. But you can also do it within something called Hootsuite. So if you're looking for particular people using, say, if you a plumber and you want, your boiler fixed. As a plumber, you would use different language than you would if your boiler was broken. So, you would, if you think about the phrases that your customers would use and what questions they would ask if they had a problem, and you can do a search for that. So you can either sort of save it as a search or use something like Hootsuite to do quite a lot of searches. So, for example, on Hootsuite, I have certain streams which are gathered from hashtags or search terms or a combination of both. So I can follow particular conversations that are of interest, and find articles that would be interesting to share for people.
Yeah. Brilliant. Right. This has been take 2, and we thank you everybody who's been watching us. And Nicky has issued me a challenge. We'll be back in around 30 days to see if that challenge has worked out, and to see possibly where we go from there. We apologise for the sound on the first part 1, but hopefully this has been loud and clear. And it's goodbye from me and from Nicky.
Goodbye from me. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Okay, we're good. Thank you, and goodbye, Facebook. Sorry, you can't hear me?
No, you went. That's fine. I can hear you.
All right. Okay. Hello, Facebook. We will be live in 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to this afternoon's chat with myself and Nicky Kriel. The first thing we're going to do is just set ourselves up. Good afternoon, Nicky.
Hello. Thank you very much for inviting me. This is quite fun. It's new technology to learn, so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm just sharing. I've literally just shared this on my Facebook page. Okay.
Right. I'm just going to refresh my page, and hopefully it'll come up and show us live. And if you're watching, welcome. And I'm now going to edit the post. Hopefully it'll let me edit. This is all, we can edit this out afterwards, but it's all part of the setup. And edit the post. And I'm going to type in the text so that people know what they're watching. And thank you to anybody who is watching live. And finish editing. And there we are. I'm going to come back on camera now. Right, okay, that's all the work done. We're live on Facebook. People know what they're watching. That's very good. So good afternoon, Nicky, and welcome. And this afternoon, we're going to be talking about your new book, which is wonderful.
I'm so pleased you like it.
There you go. converting conversations to customers. Now, this is where most people come unstuck, isn't it? Because we set up a LinkedIn account, we set up a Twitter account, we send out our one tweet a day, and we post to Facebook once a month, and we don't get any business. And we wonder why. And this book goes from there forwards. So thank you for writing the book. I've enjoyed reading it. Now, my first question comes from the book itself. You've chosen LinkedIn and Twitter. Why those two?
Well, I think they give you the highest value. Of course, Facebook and Instagram and other social media platforms are important, but for especially if you business to business or you're dealing with high value clients, or if somebody is going to bring in a high enough value, then LinkedIn and Twitter are two obvious places that you really, really should be considering. And I think a lot of people dismiss LinkedIn because they find it too stiff and formal, and so don't use it properly. Other people just use LinkedIn and don't actually think about using something else for the platform. So I think it's important to use both of them together.
Right. Now, unfortunately, we're having 1 or 2 sound problems. I'm just going to check on Facebook and see if anybody there has commented. I'm just going to refresh the page. Because obviously, if we can get this right at the beginning, then we'll be good all the way through. If anybody's watching on Facebook and has a problem with the sound, can you comment? We've no comments at the moment, so let's carry on for a moment and see what happens. Okay, now, so LinkedIn and Twitter for business. What about your LinkedIn profile? Where do you start and what should you do?
Well, I think the most important thing is to get your house in order before you go out and try and attract customers to you, is to make sure that when they arrive on your LinkedIn profile, that you are the right type of person that they want to deal with. And lots of people forget that, starting, sort of start with the beginning, with make sure that when people arrive on your LinkedIn profile, that they can find out the best about you that they can. And also your LinkedIn profile helps you, as one of the first things that people will find if they Google your name, is your LinkedIn profile comes up very strongly in Google search. So if you've got a badly filled in LinkedIn profile, or it's out of date, or you've got a shoddy picture, it's not going to help your business. So you will really want to get things in order first. Plus, it gives you the opportunity to be found by more people, because so many people don't put in obvious keywords and help people to find them through their LinkedIn profile. So they don't think about people searching for keywords.
Right. So, I mean, basically, the thing is, as you said, LinkedIn ranks high in Google, and it's a great way to get found. Now, how important is the photograph?
I think it's really important not to have bad photographs. There are too many photographs I've seen with 2 people in the pictures, or fuzzy ones, or ones that are definitely out of date. And I've met somebody and they looked about 20 years older than the photograph in their profile. So that's a little bit off-putting when you actually meet somebody and you don't really recognise them, or they look a little bit dated, which is not the first impression when you meet somebody. I've seen some howlers of photographs. Like, I've actually seen photographs on this side, which if I were going to do business with somebody, I would suspect that they don't know the first thing about uploading a photograph. So, the basic, don't have basic computer skills. So that doesn't send out a good message, unless, of course, you're trying to appeal to people who don't have basic computer skills, and then those are exactly your audience that you should be looking for. Okay, right. So I've got Michelle's saying that it's buzzing. I'm just wondering if it's this microphone. Should I take it out? Just
okay, try it. Yeah, try that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that better? Can you hear me better?
Michelle, can you? Just waiting for Michelle.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Okay. Now, in terms of staying with your profile, and we'll wait till Michelle comes back to us. One thing that hit me is the amount of space you've got for your description. Is it thousands of characters?
Yes. You've got a lot. The thing is, nobody wants to read an essay. An essay, unless it's really interesting, you want people to capture people by your description, or how you sort of describe people, or how you describe yourself. So you're writing for the person reading it. So you want people to have an introduction, so they know who you are, who you help, and how you help them, as well as you can then go into the details of exactly what you've done. Too often people don't even fill in the description. That's a long description, not your tagline at the top. It's your headline of your LinkedIn profile. So many people have filled it in with hardly any words, or with one paragraph. And I think if you think about, you're telling a story, you want to help whoever lands on the page to realize that you are the right person for them to work with, or know who they should introduce you to, as a basis. So you're writing for the person who's reading your LinkedIn description. So that's my sort of top tip in terms of LinkedIn descriptions. Right. And make sure you get that right.
Okay. How about keywords?
Okay. Now, people find people through searching. So lots of people are searching for using keywords. So it's important to have keywords in, but you don't want to stuff keywords in to your profile in a very obvious way, because there's nothing more off-putting when you can see somebody just repeats the same words over and over and over. And you think, well, they're not interested in me, they're just interested in SEO, being found by search. So often you forget about obvious words to use in your profile that you want to be found for. And there's certain key places that you can add those search keywords into your profile to be found. So it's just making sure that you put them all in the right places, or make sure that you've got your keywords where you want them, so that people can find you for those.
Okay, I understood that. Now, one of the mysteries to me, I admit this, Facebook is a mystery, but one of the mysteries is LinkedIn search.
Yeah.
And using LinkedIn search to find people. How powerful is it?
Well, if you think about LinkedIn, it's a big database. So it's got 450 million people in a database. Okay. So, and when you fill in your LinkedIn profile, you fill it in a very, very structured way. So you give a lot of information. So you'll say what your past experiences were, where you worked, how long you worked there, and a lot more detail than any other social media platform. But it means also that because you put it in a structured way, you can find that information in a very structured way as well. So LinkedIn, I've seen far too many people that will only use LinkedIn search to look for people's names, or maybe look up a company. So they're using it in a very limited way. There's a feature called advanced search on LinkedIn, which gives you a lot more options. And even within each of the spaces you can fill in, you can use as something called Boolean search. So you can use and, or you can put things in inverted commas to help you improve your search a lot more.
Yeah. So if you were searching for accountants in Sussex, for example, then you could use the and. Yeah. And if you were searching for accountants in Sussex and Essex, then you could use the and or.
Yeah. Or exactly. Or you could do, if you look at, there's a place that you can see location, and you can put things within a certain mileage of where you live. So you can put in a postcode and find people who are within 10 miles of that postcode. So you can find out that specifically. You can also find out people who used to work at companies. So if you're trying to get into a new company, you might actually look at people who've worked in that company in the past, so that you can actually talk to them and ask them questions and see if they know people who could introduce you. So that's another little thing you could be doing to get in.
Yeah. Now, how about making connections? What's the best way to do that?
Okay, LinkedIn is a little bit fraught in terms of connecting etiquette, but it is better to send a let's connect without. I prefer people to personalize the invitation, but it's better to send an invitation than to dither about it. So many people will spend a lot of time finding the right people, and then they think, oh, can I, will this person want to connect with me? The simplest thing is to ask. They can only say no. It's not sort of a big, your life hasn't fallen apart if they said they don't want to connect with you. But it's always better to give people a reason to connect. So you say that you've shared a group, or you found something on their profile interesting, or you've met somebody, or you know somebody in common with that person. Because most people will connect with you if they have a reason to connect with you.
Right. So cut and paste is bad. Personal approach is far better.
Yes. So if you want to personalise your invitation, if you can. But if you use your phone and you click on the connect button, it goes out without being able to personalise it. And there's certain parts within LinkedIn that if you push connect, it will send out an invitation without you actually being able to do anything personal on it. So I don't be dismissive of people who send you a standard invitation to connect on LinkedIn.
Right. Okay. So we've got profile that's searchable, and we've got a situation where we as a result of those searches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's leave LinkedIn for a moment and go to Twitter. Setting your Twitter profile, do you have any pointers?
Yes, your bio, you've only got 160 characters, but you can either put people off, or you can get people interested within those 160 characters. So think very carefully about what you're going to say in there. If it looks like an obvious sales pitch, I think you'll put more people off than you will attract. You do also, because it's searchable on Google, you want to add some keywords into your Twitter bio, and make sure that people have a reason to connect with you again, or have a flavour for what type of thing you might be interested in or tweeting about. There's also a banner above your Twitter profile, and you can put a pinned post at the top of your Twitter profile. So it's the first tweet that people come across when they visit your profile, which is really powerful as well. But with Twitter, people will judge you by your last 5 tweets. So make sure your last few tweets aren't all sales pitches at people. Buy my product.
Yeah. And I'd like to say welcome to Paul and Michelle and to Duncan. Thank you for watching today. And if you have any questions for Nicky, then please post them on Facebook, and we'll get some in a moment or so. But we're just going through. I mean, we're looking. Yeah, just take a quick look.
I know Michelle's saying that I'm sounding like a Dalek, so I don't know whether to put my mic in again and test that out. Should I?
Try again.
Okay, let me try it. Okay. Right. Sorry about this. Yeah.
Okay.
Where is it when you want it?
This is cutting edge technology, and when it works, it's brilliant. And when we have problems, we just get a little while to sort them out.
Okay.
Right, let's try again, Nicky.
So I don't know if it sounded like a Dalek now, or if there's buzzing. So I'm not too sure which is better and which is worse. Okay.
Michelle, do we have sound?
I know before.
I'm not sure whether Michelle's chirping. Okay. All right. These things are sent to triers. Okay, Michelle, if the sound's okay, if you could let us know. If not, then we'll try something else. Okay. Now, thing that most people miss out on is Twitter chats. Can you first explain what they are and why they're important?
Okay. people come together. Twitter can be very fast moving, and it can sound, things can go past very, very quickly, but people come together quite often it's for an hour, and often at regular times that people come back at a point. So some of them are weekly Twitter chats, and others are because there's a particular event and it's organized that at, say, 7 o'clock, we're all going to get together and talk about a particular topic. But it's a great opportunity for you to meet like-minded people, so that you can have discussions on Twitter, and all you do is you use the hashtag for the event. So you make sure that all your tweets include that hashtag, which means that everybody who's in that Twitter chat can see your conversation and you're part of the conversation. It's a great way to meet people, and especially if you've got a specialist topic that you're interested in. I very involved in a Surrey chat I take part in every morning on Saturday morning, and I've built up very strong relationships with other people in Surrey because we regularly show up and we have conversations, and a lot of the conversations are about everyday things rather than necessarily business things, but everybody there tends to be a business person.
So it's about getting to know people.
Yes, it's really getting to know the human side of a person, because we do business with people we know, like, and sorry, I've lost it. It's sort of like that, know, like, and trust, and it's the building up the trust factor. Most people don't, especially if you're doing something like coaching or something financial. That trust factor is quite a powerful thing. You're not going to just randomly choose an arbitrary person until you've got a level of trust with that person, or enough people have recommended that person that you feel as though, so you don't feel so vulnerable when you do business with them. But ultimately, we all do business with people.
I think that's a very important point, that it's the personal side, isn't it? I mean, you mentioned that on your Twitter page, on your Twitter banner, you should have a personal picture rather than a corporate logo, because it is about being personal.
I think it depends on each business, but if you can have a Twitter profile in your own name or your own picture, even if you're talking about business, or one part is your Twitter username might be about your business. If you're a one-man band, let's say, if you've got a group of people, you may need a company account, but it's always useful. You can always add who the person who's tweeting is in, say, maybe in the bio, or you could sign off tweets by your initials or by your name, so that people feel that they're talking to a real live person.
Yeah. Keep it personal. Certainly. Now, in terms of Twitter, one of the overlooked things is the Twitter search engine.
Yeah. Now,
because that's pretty. Sorry.
No. Twitter, again, well, they try and hide the advanced search functions. So a lot of people will just put up Twitter names or search for things, but you can actually look for keywords within the Twitter search. And the advanced search they keep well hidden. So you need to do a search term and then look in the more section in the next page, and right down at the bottom is advanced search, which allows us you to look for phrases, exclude certain search terms, and actually go into far more depth for finding what you need to know on Twitter. So right. I don't know why Twitter hides it, but they do.
Right. And there are full instructions for how to get the best out of the search engine in converting conversations to customers, which is your latest book. Now, just off track for a moment, back to the book itself. When you decided to write it, you went for fundraising, didn't you?
Yes, I did a Kickstarter for it. Yeah.
And how did you find that?
Well, it was a challenging one. I think I should have. I was busy writing the book, and I kept on. I shot the video months before, and I should have been a lot more organised than I was, but I wasn't. And I just thought, if I don't push the button now to start the Kickstarter, I'm never going to do it, or I'll delay the whole process. And I knew once I had the Kickstarter, the advantage is
that once you've reached the amount that you need to do, you've got backers who's there, and you need to sort of make sure that you deliver the book in time for them. So I knew I would work, sort of like it with that. So it was very useful to do. And what's the nice benefit of having done a Kickstarter is I've got a number of people who feel that they're involved in the book, and have got the inside view of the book. So they've had a little bit more about the book, and they've got the first copies of the book. So for getting reviews and things done, that's really useful. But I did leave things to the last minute. So it was all in the last few days that most of the fundraising was done, which I wouldn't recommend. But I'm glad I did it, because it allowed me to do the book independently, because I had gone to a publisher, and from the questions they asked, I sort of knew that I wouldn't be able to produce the book I wanted to write. So I just felt quite passionate about having a book that would be useful and helpful to small business owners. And I've written it for micro businesses, so really for businesses that have got 0 to 9 employees. So on that smaller scale, assuming that people don't have a budget, that they're not going to spend hundreds of thousands of pounds on expensive technology, but that they may have the time to invest in relationships and building relationships. So the book is really about the benefits of building relationships and how to turn those conversations that you might have online into real customers offline, which is ultimately.
Thank you for that. Because when you're actually writing a book, there is a lot of time and a lot of effort involved. And the Kickstarter helped you build a team, and the team stayed together, and good things have happened. Now, I'm going to go on to our next topic, which is back to the book, because the book is 250 pages. It covers everything you need to know about LinkedIn and Twitter. And one of the things that I came across, which intrigues me, is IFTTT, or IFT.
Yeah, if this then that. Yeah,
and your use of it.
Yeah,
to find people.
It's one of these things that is it's a useful technique to use, because it allows you to create rules. So it's like if something happens, then you do that. So I use it to create lists of people so automatically if they're using a hashtag. So I might put this as a private list. So I can gather together people using a particular hashtag or talking about a subject, and especially it's useful for Twitter chats to put people into a group so that you can actually follow those people afterwards and connect with those people. Rather than when a Twitter chat is happening, quite often it's chaotic. You're in the moment, you miss a lot of the conversation. So it's quite nice to be able to look back and to actually connect with those people properly.
Yeah. So it is a way of actually getting in contact with people and building on that, building relationships. Now, building relationships is key, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think quite.
Sorry, if you sit back and do nothing happens. So where do you actually start in building relationships?
You start with saying hello to people.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think also you need to you also need to be aware of who your existing customers are, and actually pay them attention and make sure you develop relationships with them, because people often concentrate on getting new business in rather than getting more business from the existing customers. You want to make sure your existing customers feel that you actually they're important to you. So and the nice thing about social media is that you are doing a drip, small little touches to build relationships with people. So that makes a big difference in the long run.
Now building relationships is key to your book as well, because you've got people in there who are giving advice from their point of view, like Dee Blick, and who else can I pick? John Ferrara of Nimble, and our mutual friend, Mike Turner. Now, Mike Turner's story is an intriguing one. Can you start at the beginning in 2014?
But in terms of how it's really a story about how he went from, because when he's in 2014 he was travelling up to London from Cornwall. He decided to relocate to Cornwall, but he thought, I'll just keep on with my normal business in Cornwall by going up to London. And in 2014 there were great storms, and the railway line broke because of the storms. Literally, it actually broke. You know, it's so he was cut off, and the west coast was cut off from southwest from getting up to London. So his only alternative was to do a long car journey, which is not quite what he wanted to do. So it made him reevaluate what he wanted to do, and he's decided to set up a local business, and he used social media to get himself established in his local area, and and actually build up a successful business in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah. So that's a 6 o'clock club, isn't it?
Yes.
Which is based on.
Yeah, I mean, he's always used a mixture of face-to-face networking as well as using social media. So it's about people relationships, but also his business is doing quite well. So and that's come from a zero start, because he does social media. He's a social media agency. Yeah.
I mean, I met him for a coffee at the beginning of that journey. And in the last 2 years, a lot has happened, and I know you're involved in that. And I think that's the key about social networking, is getting to know people who know how to do it. And that certainly comes through Michael's story, that you've helped him to achieve that in the 6 o'clock club, and good attendance at every meeting he has. And it's built a social media business, hasn't he, with employees? Yeah. I mean, it used to just be him.
Yeah, he's had to move out, so he was working from home, and he's now in an office. And I've lost track of exactly how many people he's employing right now. So he has a whole big team that he works in offices, which is quite a big difference from starting out on your own.
Indeed. Now, other people who've helped you with the book, and there are several names that people will recognise as well as your own, are just give me a minute, I'm just thinking, Andrea Varma. How do you get to know Andrea?
I suppose I've been communicating with her on Facebook for quite a long time. We actually met through a LinkedIn group that Denise Wakeman set up, which was an online visibility group, and so got chatting there, and we've been Facebook friends. I've often responded on her Facebook posts because she posts great things, etc. And it was really lovely because I actually got an opportunity. She came and spoke at an event for me about a year ago in Guildford. So she came all the way down to Guildford. I saw that she was speaking at a big event up in Manchester, and I said, and then she was speaking something in London, and I said, oh, can you come and speak at this event? And she agreed to do it, which is lovely. And what was nice was that she knew who I was. I'm always intrigued that people know who I am. I've never seen that people will, definitely know. So it was lovely to, that she without a hesitation, she agreed to do it. And we got to meet each other for the first time. I attended her Facebook ads course that she ran up in London, and then she came down with me, and she did a brilliant talk. And we also saw each other at the social media marketing world. So she's a delight. She's a font of knowledge. She knows so much stuff. So that was just within this section she contributed. It was within such a short time. She packed in so much information, and it's brilliant. I have a lot of respect for her.
Indeed, but that's what social networking is about. I mean, you met, as you say, in a LinkedIn group, and you built a relationship where you actually understood each other and wanted to help each other, and you met, and Now she's in your second book, Converting Conversations to Customers. I'll get that to trip off the tongue by the second show. Now, do you have
too much alliteration?
Do you have a challenge for me?
Yes. I think the thing is that it's easy to read a book and go, oh, there's lots of good information in the book. So my challenge to you is to take a few things. I'm not expecting you to take everything that you've done in the book, to take a few of the ideas that you got from the book and come back to us in 30 days and sort of like let us know how you get on and what difference it's made to your business. And, you know, what are the things that have happened to you because you put some things in action? I think that would be really interesting to know well, not only for me, but I think for everybody else. I think that would be interesting to see what you get up to and how obvious it is what you're doing.
Challenge accepted. My LinkedIn account was created when LinkedIn first started, and some parts haven't been changed since then. So I'm going to visit the book, I'm going to visit LinkedIn, and over the course of the next 30 days, I'm going to revamp my LinkedIn profile. I'm going to take part in LinkedIn groups. I'm going to actually write messages to people and reply when they reply to me. And I'm going to adopt all the practices and principles that you put together in the book, and we'll see if my presence on LinkedIn can be improved. And I thank you for the challenge, and I'm looking forward to that. Now, is there anything you feel we've not covered today?
No, I think just make sure you download. There's a checklist for your LinkedIn profile that you can get. There's a link within the book, so you can get that. So just get that so you can check things off that you've done everything that's mentioned in the book. So yes, no, that would be really great. I don't know if there were any questions that anybody had to ask.
I'm just going to take a look on Facebook, and again, thank you to everybody who's watching us. And I'm going to give a shout out to Maxima, Kevin, and Peter. And thank you for joining us. With the sound, we know has been up and down. We've had Michelle telling us about that, and we've hoped to react to what is happening. But it's been a very enjoyable chat, and I thank you, Nicky. If you'd like to thank the audience, then we'll close the formal part of it here. And if you want to join us on Blue Jeans, then I'll post a link so you can join us and ask questions.
Yeah, that would give it. Thank you very much for Stephen for inviting me to do this interview, and I'm so pleased that you like the book, because it does mean a lot to me. I've spent several years writing it, and I don't know how many months tearing my hair out to the technical side and editing and formatting and all that type of stuff to get it out. So it is just it's an absolute pleasure as an author when somebody enjoys what they've read. And you know, if anybody wants to get in touch with me, I'm on LinkedIn. You know, I'll say yes to most invitations unless I really think you're going to spam me. And on Twitter, I'm very happy to chat to people on Twitter. So, you know, find me wherever you can, and I will talk to you.
Wonderful. Right. Okay. That's the formal part of this, and we'll close down the broadcast. And thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone who's watched and commented. Big thank you to Michelle for monitoring, being our sound engineer today. And hopefully,
I don't know what I would have.
But to everybody on Facebook, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from. Sorry, you can't hear me.
No.